Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna just cover day one for Chantel since she's so determined to go to base camp. This is a 9-minute video. Let me make sure I get the link to credit it. Let's see what it looks like going to base camp, shall we?
Alright, what's up, y'all? The Everest journey starts here in Lukla. It's a little village, whereas the first place you start trekking into Everest from. And I'm just gonna show you around a little bit. And yeah, so basically you fly in from this little valley over here. Pretty nice. You can see the helicopters. They're pretty loud. I don't want to get too close. But you enter this village, and look how cool it is. There's these giant mountains and everything around you. Over here is really nice, so it's kind of clouded up there now. But anyways, from here we start trekking upwards, kind of light trekking because we have like yaks that carry some of our stuff to base camp. You know, I'm trying to carry as much as I can.
Is this why you all want to go to Casper, Wyoming? Because of Jeffrey and his yak farm, right? By the way, Chantel, I noticed that even just that small path has quite uneven ground, but okay.
It's as painful as possible, but sometimes you can only fit so much, so. Anyways, we'll start making our way up to Namche, which is like the next big village. It's really beautiful, actually, from the pictures I've seen. And from there, we just keep working our way up. So it'll be about 9 days till we get to the base of Everest, I believe. And then, I'm assuming we go through here and kind of wrap around. And once we get to Everest, we got some big mountains to climb. It is so loud. Once we get to base camp, we're climbing Lobuche, I believe that's how it's pronounced, which is a smaller peak. Let us acclimate, and then we're going to start working our way up through different camps up and down until we're acclimated and ready to go for the summit push.
Right.
So yeah, look how cool this is though. Little village. Sometimes just like makes you want to leave everything. But anyways, now we're talking business now. The plan. As we trek, we drink lots of water, and every break we try to get, 300 plus calories in an RX bar and a fruit leather. That way we'll be sustained, get the sustenance, and work our way up through this. So it's not going to be too painful at the start. We're not going to see frostbite potential, just kidding. But we could see some later on. Helicopter, that was us. They just fly in. These guys are crazy at flying. Oh, by the way, hold on. We're about like 9,000 something feet right now. So it's actually already, the air is much thinner already. But we deep nasal breathe. The more you deep nasal breathe, Wim Hof, your mind clears. If you're ever at altitude and you have a headache,
Oh my god, this is going to be so great with your asthma and your CPAP. So good.
Start deep breathing. Oh wait, plane. There it goes. You can see how crazy it is, how much people are actually coming in to begin this trek. Not everyone's going to Everest. There's a large portion, but a lot of them are either base camp, going to Everest. I think you also start some other treks here. Maybe the Annapurna trek, I don't know. But there's so much people, like helicopters, planes flying in and out. So, very commercialized. It's actually pretty interesting. I'm kind of far away from it now, but there's like a whole shopping way. Maybe I'll throw a picture on screen, I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty awesome, so we're gonna run it from here. Let's go.
Run it.
Alright, so this is kind of the trails we're trekking on right now. Luke
Unlock more savings in the Ralph Center.
Trekking on right now. Lukla's over there. Kind of on these just like mellow trails. Not really making much elevation gain or decline. Just kind of working our way through these light trails. You go through these really little villages, which I'll show a video in a second. It's really awesome. Pretty light, honestly. So for the next 9 days, it's kind of like this, and you'll end up locking in once you get to base camp. But I don't really want to show because I'm not in too much pain right now. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find the pain. So I'm trying to show the interesting stuff. Show that in a second. We got lots of porters. Yeah, I might be able to get a zoom in. Oh yeah, all the way down there. Those guys, they're carrying like literal plywood of stuff. So much weight. So anyways, I think we actually have some Sherpas here. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, that's kind of it right now. So anyways, I'm mostly trying to get the interesting stuff because it's not too crazy down here. We actually have something interesting coming up right now, so it's kind of hard because I'm trying to film these and show the progress, of course, but I also want to capture kind of the commercialization and a bunch of other problems that are going on up here. So kind of figuring this all out. Hold on. Oh, there's a bridge right here. You can see all the way over there. All the porters. Look at those. They're tanks. I don't know how they do that. You should see some of the stuff these guys are carrying. It's insane. So yeah. Okay, this is kind of epic. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I didn't even intend to film this. Hold on a second. This is kind of crazy. We're walking on a bridge currently. It looks safe. No, it looks safe.
Oh, yeah, it looks really
You see all the mountains around.
Looks very safe. That looks really safe, dude. And by the way, Chantel, if you look at some of their other videos, where they start climbing to the second camp, or Camp 1, I think it's called, because it's not base camp, right? There is some crazy ice rock climbing, basically, and going over crevasses, and it's just insane looking. This is like John Muir stuff right here.
So it's just these like nice first day of Everest. You think it would be pretty crazy, but no, it's just if I drop my if I drop my phone, I'm cooked. But anyways, it's pretty mellow. You're walking over these trails through the villages. Got people coming down. Hello. There's a lot of people, but it's pretty awesome. So.
Wow, dude.
All right, so we're about a couple hours into this first hike here. We're feeling good. 9,000 feet, not shabby at all. But I cannot believe, so I'm filming 2 videos, so obviously the logs here, a little bit more personal, more of the kind of like mundane stuff, I don't know, that I'm actually filming good stuff for my little documentary I'm gonna make, which I care a lot about more than kind of these little logs. They're still cool to make though. But some of these porters, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna like, cause I took a bunch of shots of them, but some of these guys are carrying like 60 kilos. It's absolutely mad. So definitely could not do that if I were in their position. So they're definitely carrying the mountain. Nobody would be getting up if it wasn't for them. I actually passed by some here, so take a look in a second. Look at these. Hello.
Oh, namaste.
How much do you think that weighs?
Yeah.
How much heavy?
100 kg.
100 kilos?
Okay.
Nice.
220 pounds.
Hey guys, it's very early morning here in the Kuwait desert, and
How much do you think that weighs? Could a Sherpa carry that up the trail?
We came out here to see if we could see any camels, but I think it's a bit too early. They haven't let them out yet. I don't know what a camel keeper is called. I know for a sheep it's a shepherd, but they have all this lush green here. It's been raining a lot. It's pretty humid, but it's not too bad. There's a slight breeze. It's not that hot yet. So it's not even 7 a.m. yet, so it's not that hot. But
So if the camels weren't even there yet, why bother doing this part of the video? Wait, let's go back to the other footage, the base camp footage.
All right, what's up, y'all? The Everest journey starts here in Lukla.
I think it was.
It's a little village.
Let's skip ahead.
Sometimes just like makes you want to leave everything. But anyways, now we're talking business now.
Yeah,
The plan, they're coming in to begin this trek. Not everyone's going to Everest. There's a large portion on here.
Got your tickets yet?
Yes.
Yeah!
We're taking what authentic Mexican food looks like and we elevate it into a...
Good morning, everybody. It's day 9 of climbing Mount Everest. Today, we woke up in the beautiful village of Gorak-Shep, just a little village.
Innovating for over a century. Making great...
In there. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna basically, you can see our team down there, head through there. You basically go up, 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 up. And I believe our camp is kind of where my trekking pole is. So we'll head down there and we'll take a look. And yeah, that's kind of it. I'll give a little tour once we get down there, because I think that's the most interesting thing is the base camp, because it's so civilized. But yeah, we'll get down there.
Well, I don't know if that's the most interesting thing. The ice fall that's right behind base camp that came off the mountain is quite interesting, because they have, in order to get to Camp 1, they have to climb over that, and it basically acts and behaves like a glacier with crevasses. And they've put ladders all over it for them to just walk over these ladders, over these deep crevasses.
Check this out. Coming in here, we got a little pool here. Oh. If we got 5 likes on this video, I'll do a cold plunge at base camp. That's really easy to get, but I just want to do it anyway, so. And then after just a couple hours of trekking, we had reached base camp, and I don't know when this sign got here, but that rock right there is pretty iconic. Now there's just this big sign that's kind of blocking it, so still pretty cool either way. So many tents. Population is over 1,000, Tyler.
Where'd you hear that? Your boy?
Yeah, for my boy Cacho over here.
Well, I don't know on it.
He probably would say that too.
Yeah, Chantel, this looks super luxurious.
1,000 including everybody?
Look at all these. What's inside there? What do we got?
Well, you got a cold plunge.
Now, because base camp is so large, we had to trek for about 10 minutes before we got to our little headquarters. As you can see, we got a bit of real estate here, and I'll give a rundown. So these are our tents, the client's tents. We all get a personal tent, which is pretty nice. I'll show that off in a second. This is where the food is made, and Madison Mountaineering has literally the best chefs. Like, the food is amazing. They have 2 chefs in there working for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just at base camp, of course, and this is where we eat. So you got this pretty large dining tent, and, you know, inside isn't anything crazy, just a long table where everybody can hang out, eat, and I mean, once we got to base camp, they had bacon, pancakes, eggs. I mean, it's pretty good. Obviously not at Camp 1, Camp 2, Camp 3, etc., but, you know, base camp, you'll have that. And then, once again, a few of the tents, we have this big red dome, which is pretty cool. You know, it's a little bit mysterious, but, yeah, I went in there to check it out. It was pretty cool. So inside that big red dome tent that we're in right now, it's kind of like just a little lounge. What's really nice about this, though, is the foam rollers. I don't really know. I guess we got something like calisthenics tools, but nah, you gotta use these because going down the mountain constantly using like these muscles, they get so tight. So you need must have tennis ball.
We're here at Sprouts, sharing unique, tasty
Tennis ball. There's no such thing as knee pain going down the mountain. Like 5% chance you actually have knee pain. 95% chance your muscles are just tight. You need one of these. All right, and here's the deal with the bathrooms. So, you know, just out on the front lawn here, we got this blue tent. So remember, blue means water. So that means you only go number 1 in here. Therefore, you can kind of see what's going on. It's just like a spot to go, you know? You get some privacy.
Number 1.
That's really all it is.
This number 1.
I'm actually about to see where you go. The other one for the first time. So it's the white tent. Ooh, let's check this one out. Garrett, I'm seeing the poop system for the first time. This is like pretty high tech, I'm pretty sure. At least I've heard. Wait a second. There's not gonna be anything gross. That's just like showing what it is. It's like the bathroom. It's like $1 versus $5,000 bathroom. It's like what Mr. Beast does. Here, hold on, I'm gonna put this down. Oh damn. It's just a toilet. No. Should I do that?
Yeah, you gotta document the shower.
Alright. The showers are over here.
Yep.
I haven't showered in months, Garrett.
Well, you just started this trip 2 weeks ago. How could it be months?
What? Before it.
I don't think Chantel's showered in months either.
Maybe. No, just kidding. That would be a little gross. We'll take a trip over to this system here. There's a boy and a girl shower. That's pretty crazy. I didn't know you were running a Luxpedition out here.
Sounds like somebody's in the shower. Hello! Oh, I have somebody in the shower.
Okay, sorry for intruding. I'll B-roll what it looks like in there. The shower system.
Yep.
Got the mats, so you're not stepping on the rocks.
The propane heater. And the water comes down from the hill up there in the barrel. Feeds down to the heater. And then we have the shower head. You wash yourself off.
So where are you getting the water from?
Water comes from way over there. Mongolay has
In
to
the
go
ice
over
fall.
with a bucket and carry the water all the way up to the top of the hill here.
Really? It's a whole operation. And then finally, the interior of my tent. We all got a personal tent. So you have this little walkway right here. And you have a spot for your duffels, a little desk for things, a little bed, which you'll put your sleeping bag on, and a chair. Then you have just a little bit of space just to put any of your gear so you can quickly grab it and head on your way. Honestly, pretty cozy, and I'm kind of hyped about it. Obviously, once you get up to Camp 1, Camp 2, Camp 3, it's nothing like this. But it's really important at base camp to have a nice place to stay, nice food, so you have the strength to go up further on the mountain. And honestly, yeah, really solid. So
Nice. Okay, I will absolutely credit you for your content. And let's go further.
Good easy exercise. Right in the building. Once. Next is up the stairs. Ready.
Yeah, that seems like a great idea. Don't give her a minute to like rest or anything or sit in the lobby for a little bit, regain her composure. No, let's just go completely straight onto the stairs after going around with Campbell. So it seems like a great idea. Let's go. And also, I'm actually going to speed her back down to originally, because I did have her on 1.25, then 1.5. But let's see Chantal going upstairs in real time, shall we?
Well, look at the way she's pounding up those steps, too. If you do have leg issues like I do, don't pound up the stairs. You're very cautious, very careful with each step that you take. And here she is pounding. She really is like what she was doing on that dirt hill in with the camels, and what she's doing on the stairs here is she is acting as though she still has her childhood body and hasn't realized that she has new limitations that she needs to be aware of and accommodate for.
Keep going, baby. He scares the most. You can do it, Yalla. It's a very good exercise. Oh, baby.
You had to make sure to get the shot first instead of being like, oh my god, you just fell. Are you okay? Here, let me help you up. No, gotta lean back just a little bit to get everything of the shot, and then, oh my gosh, I need to go help her. Chantal, that's not the first sign that this is not working. I don't know what is.
By the way, Chantal, it took them 9 days to reach base camp. 9 days of hiking to reach base camp. Okay, just letting you know. And if you decide to explore anything around you, where the ice fall is, where they have the ladders and the crevasses, let me tell you a little story. And I mentioned that at one point I purchased a children's book of the story of Stikine, which was my favorite John Muir story. And I went into the closet. Okay, also, at the same time, my son is engaged right now, and they are expecting their first child in November. We're going to have a girl, assuming that's the gender she associates with. We're going to have a girl. So anyway, one of the things that they have asked for on their registry is children's books. I legit have 3 boxes of Cody's children's books in my closet, and they're in stellar condition because we read them once or twice and then we put them away. These are not highly used books because I bought him so many. Obviously, I have 3 boxes of books in the closet. But I found Stikine, so I'm going to share this book with you right now because I'm so excited that I found this. This is my absolute favorite John Muir story of all time. That's why I have my glasses on, because I'm going to read. Here we go, you guys. So here is Stikine. This is the children's version of the story, illustrated. Okay, it is definitely, I cannot recreate what Lee Stetson used to do with it, but I will do my absolute best, okay? Here we go. So here it is. This is Stikine. Oh, actually, I have to take my glasses off because I'm looking through my camera. So John Muir and the Brave Little Dog. Okay, so John Muir and the Brave Little Dog. You can see Love Mommy. I gave him this book. And he did not take it with him when he moved out, but here it is. Oh, man, it's longer than I thought it was. I'm not going to be able to read this whole thing to you, so I'm just going to, maybe I will. I don't know. Let's see. This is a true story. It was a true story. This legit happened. Okay. The great explorer and environmentalist John Muir first met the little dog Stikine while exploring in Alaska. This is the story of their most memorable adventure. Okay, so here's the pictures. You can see the pictures. All right, In the summer of 1880, I set out from Fort Wrangell in a canoe. I planned to explore the mountains of ice called glaciers in southeastern Alaska. My companions on board included 4 men and a little black dog. The dog was named Stikine, and after the Stikine Indians. Okay. He was a short-legged dog, shaggy pup with a bushy tail like a squirrel's. His dark eyes were sharp and clear. I did not want to take Stikine. Before we left, I told his master, such a little pup will only be in the way. Best to leave him behind. But his master said, he will be no trouble at all. He is a perfect wonder of a dog. He can handle cold like a polar bear. He can swim like a seal. As his master spoke, Stikine looked up at me as if to say, I'm going with you. I will not be left behind. Our large and sturdy canoe floated down rivers and over waves past islands and tall cliffs. From the start, Stikine was a curious character, puzzling and independent. As we rode, Stikine spent the days in lazy ease, often seeming to be in a deep sleep. Somehow, though, he always knew what was going on. If a duck or seal attracted our attention, for example, he would rest his chin on the edge of the canoe and calmly look out like a dreamy-eyed tourist. When we talked about making a landing, Stikine would immediately jump up to see what sort of place we were approaching. Before we even reached the beach, he leaped overboard and swam ashore. Stikine was always the first one out of the canoe. Stikine was also always the last to get in. He could never be found when we were ready to continue our journey. He refused to come when we called, yet he was watching us from... It's probably bathroom breaks, let's be real. Some secret hiding place. For as soon as our canoe set out, he would come trotting down the beach, plunge into the water, swim after us. He knew we would stop rowing and take him in. I did not understand Stikine. He was as cold as a glacier. He rarely wagged his tail. He never asked for a hug or a pat on the head. And when it was time for him to play or cuddle by the campfire, he would go off by himself, aloof and distant. I don't have time to play or sit by the fire, he seemed to say. Yet if there were rivers to swim, mountains to climb, or icy snow to cross, he could act as strong and fierce as a mountain man. Once our party crossed ice so rough and sharp, Stikine's feet began to bleed. His every step was marked by blood, yet he trotted on without a whimper or a cry. In spite of myself, I took pity on him. Though I knew he would not thank me, I made him 4 tiny moccasins out of my handkerchief. For some reason, Stikine liked to follow me on my explorations. Whenever I left camp alone, he was by my side. Yet he came as if to watch me with mysterious eyes rather than to share the journey as my friend. Kind of looks like a German Shepherd mix, right? I don't know. He had short legs, though. I don't know what kind of mix he was. All right. Early one morning, a storm began to blow. Everyone else in camp was sleeping, but I hurried to explore the music and motion of the storm, taking my ice axe, buttoning my coat, and putting a notebook and a piece of bread in my pocket. I set out. This is something that John Muir talks about a lot. The dude survived on a lot of carbs, but I think a lot of people who do a lot of physical activity, they need far more carbs than the rest of us who sit in offices all day. I had not gone far when I saw Stikine running through the snowy storm to join me. "No, Stikine," I shouted at him over the howling wind. "What has gotten into your queer noodle now? This wild day has nothing for you. Go back to camp and keep warm. And just so we're clear, queer back in the 1900s, 1800s, was not an offensive term at that point. It was bastardized after that. So let's just be real, okay? Okay. Again and again, I ordered him back, but he would not leave. He simply stood in the wind, drenched and blinking, as if to say, where you go, I will go. I could not shake him, no more than the earth can shake the moon. So I pushed on. Stikine trotted at my heels. So there he is. He's trying to call the dog back. All day we climbed the snowy mountains and watched the storm. What a song the storm sang. How fresh. The smell of the new snow and the cold, crisp air. When I had the chance, I drew pictures of the White Mountains in my notebook. Stikine stayed a little behind, watching me with secret, distant eyes. As we continued our journey, we headed toward a large mountain of ice called Taylor Glacier. The glacier rose before us, huge and forbidding, like a great evil creature guarding a place no man had ever gone. Or woman, let's be real. Many miles we climbed to reach the top of the glacier. There we found a field of ice as thick as a mountain, stretching as far as the eyes could see. Eagerly, we began exploring. For a mile or two, we found the ice quite safe. Soon, however, we met many long, deep cracks in the ice called crevasses, chasms, so deep that no light had ever reached their depths. Death seemed to lie within these holes. Often we were forced to jump these crevasses in order to continue our way. One crevasse was so wide that after leaping it, I tottered for several seconds before falling forward to safety. As I rested after this jump, I could not help but reflect on how near I had come to death. I have often felt that to meet one's fate on a noble mountain or in the heart of a crystal glacier would be a blessed end to an adventurous life. I was sure, too, that I had had happiness enough for a dozen lives. Nevertheless, even the best death, quick and clean, laying so openly before me, was... He died in the San Joaquin Valley after losing the battle to stop the Hetch Hetchy Dam. He fought really hard to protect the Hetch Hetchy Valley, and they dammed it up to provide more water for San Francisco. They already had dams all over the place, but hell, you gotta dam that one up too, right? And he basically, it's said that he died of heartbreak from losing that political battle. Was not easy to face. Apologies for the interruption. In contrast, Stikine appeared untroubled. Though the crevasses lay like bottomless holes before us, Stikine showed neither caution nor curiosity, wonder nor fear. He sailed over each crevasse like a flying cloud, then trotted on as carelessly as if the glaciers were his playground. Just as the day began to fade towards night, and it was time to return to camp, we were stopped by a very large crevasse. Below my feet, two steep cliffs of ice stretched away from each other. I took my head. This crevasse must be more than 50 feet wide, my boy. Far too wide to jump. Stikine grew quiet. He pawed the icy ground with his foot and looked up at me with wide, wondering eyes. Looking for a way to escape, I walked along the deep and wide ice canyon for almost a mile. Could we go back the way we had come? I wondered. No, we had come too far and had crossed too many deep crevasses. I recalled the crevasse I had managed to leap, but with no room to spare. I dare not risk jumping it again. Also, night was approaching and the sky was dark with the snow of a new storm. Beyond all this, we were wet to the skin and hungry. We were trapped, marooned on an island of ice. Then I saw a thin bridge of ice stretched across the crevasse. Fresh snow blew in my face as I looked closer. I saw that this ice bridge would not be easy to cross. It dipped in the middle like a jump rope held between two icy giants, and its top was almost as thin as the blade of a knife. Also, simply reaching the bridge would be hard. I would have to climb about 10 feet, almost straight down, to reach the nearest end of the bridge. A similar, almost straight upward climb waited at the end of the bridge. Yet this frighteningly dangerous route was our only hope of escape. So here's the picture. Okay? Stikine pressed close to my leg. For the first time, he seemed afraid. He looked at me and began to mutter and whine, saying, as plainly as if speaking, "Surely you are not going to try to cross that awful crevasse." "Hush your fears, my boy," I said. "We will get across safely. Though it was not going to be easy, often we must risk our lives to save them." But Stikine ignored my words. He only whined louder and covered his face with his paws. I took out my ice axe to chip steps into the side of the glacier, down to the ice bridge, holding on to a notch in the ice with one hand and using the steps I made to cut more steps in the ice wall until finally I reached the ice bridge. On the bridge, I sat astride it as if riding a horse. Slowly, I inched my way across the bridge, cutting off its sharp top with careful strokes and creating a narrow surface about 4 inches wide for Stikine to walk upon. I dared not look down into the depth blue and white pit plunging beneath me. I kept my eyes only on the bridge of ice. Reaching the end of the bridge, I was not yet safe. Almost 10 feet of ice rose above me. Weary as I was, I forced myself to focus. I began to chip handholds and footholds into the wall of ice, chipping, climbing, holding on with feet and fingers in mere notches. Never before had I worked so long under deadly strain. How I got up that cliff, I don't know. The thing seemed to have been done by somebody else. A power I could not see or understand had replaced my own small skill and strength. As soon as I reached safety, Stikine howled louder than ever. As he howled, he ran about, searching for another way to escape. "The bridge is not as bad as it looks, Stikine, old boy," I shouted. "You are small enough to walk across." Stikine moved closer to the bridge, as if he would try. Then he lay on his back in despair, howling as if to say, "Oh, what a place! No! I can never go across that bridge. If you don't come, Stikine, I will leave you, I said, pretending to leave by hiding behind a ridge of ice. He did not come. I went back to the edge of the crevasse and called to him in a stern voice. I really must go now. I can wait no longer. The storm is growing worse and night is almost upon us. Stikine looked at me across that chasm of ice. His eyes were like clear windows into his heart. Though a tiny pup, I saw he was feeling big, wise fears. I bent to one knee and softened my voice. If you don't come, my boy, all I can promise is that I will return for you tomorrow. But I can't promise that the wolves or the coming storm won't finish you before then. Stikine looked around at the growing darkness. He knew I was serious. This is the picture, y'all. That's the ice bridge. Okay. At last, with the courage of despair, hunched and breathless, he began to move toward the ice bridge, down the ice steps I had made. Stikine's small body wobbled uncertainly on that almost vertical slope. Steep downward climbs are not easy for dogs. Stikine reached the bridge safely. He stood before it and shivered. Snow swirled about him, touching his dark fur and clinging to his whiskers. He looked up at me as he stood at the beginning of the bridge, the deep abyss of ice surrounding him. I'm afraid, but I can be brave, I heard him say as clearly as I heard the wind rushing past my ears. Then very slowly he lifted a front paw and carefully took one step. Just as slowly, he lifted a second paw. Another step. Lifting his feet carefully as if counting each step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stikine walked ever so cautiously. Longing to help, I kept my eyes upon him as if they had the power to keep him from falling. He reached the end of the bridge, but he still had to climb that second, almost straight slope. Had I a rope, I would have made a lasso to lift him to safety, but I had no rope. Stikine would have to make the climb on his own. Could he do it? Or would I have to leave him? Even though we had come this far. Stikine took a long look at the notches I had chiseled into the ice, as if memorizing each one. Dogs are not good climbers, yet he seemed to know he must not fall now. Carefully, he hooked his paws upon a notch I had made. Then, before I could see how he did it, he whizzed to the top to safety. Well done! Well done, little boy! Brave boy, I cried, trying to catch and caress him. But he would not be caught. He darted hither and thither in his great joy, screaming and shouting, swirling round and round in giddy loops and circles like a leaf in the whirlwind, lying down and rolling over, then jumping up and to yelp and cry again. I ran to him to shake him, fearing he might die of joy. He ran off 200 or 300 yards, his feet in a mist of motion. Then, turning suddenly, he rushed at my face, almost knocking me down, all the time screeching and shouting as if to say, "Saved! Saved! Saved!" Stikine seemed ready to celebrate for the rest of the night. Yet we had far to go, and it would soon be dark. I finally persuaded him to continue our journey. On we went, filled with the joy of triumph. Stickeen fairly flew across the snow. Not until dark did he settle into his normal steady trot. We reached camp about 10 that evening. We found a big fire and a supper that included wild strawberries, but we lay down, too tired to eat much. Thereafter, Stickeen was my true friend. During the rest of the trip, he never went off alone. He stayed by my side and always tried to keep me in sight. At night, around the campfire, he would come to me. No longer were his eyes mysterious, distant, aloof. He would rest his head on my knee and touch my hand with his tongue. Often he caught my eye and seemed to say, "Weren't we brave, you and I? Weren't we very brave out on that glacier?" That is it, y'all. That was the main story of Stickeen. And when Lee Stetson did this as a monologue in Yosemite, he would preface it with a bunch of other mountain stories of John Muir in Yosemite. I specifically remember him talking about like the sheep and how stupid sheep were. But that was the main event of that monologue that he would do. He would do the Stickeen story, but he would lead up to it with a bunch of other wilderness stories about encounters with bears or how stupid sheep were. He really didn't like sheep at all, probably because he was Irish. But anyway, that is Stickeen. So there you go. It's now on record. I have read it. So if anything happens to me, you now have a recording that you can play for my future granddaughter so that she can hear me read Stickeen. And you have it for other people who might need to hear it.